Okay. So close to actually being able to do this. But before I decide whether or not to do Chapter 8 B-side, it probably won't get finished today, but I feel like we should at least get a little bit higher up this B-side summit. Maybe we'll stop right when we get to the fuzzies, because I can imagine that being my nope, not having it anymore point. Think, JackitK. Once you complete this B-side, you will be done. Nada. Never have to see another fuzzy in your life except for when you're speedrunning. And at that point, you're only going to have to deal with A-side fuzzies. You'll never have to worry about you never have to worry about B-side fuzzies or fuzzies in any hard level in general. Testering you ever again. You just have one more test to face. Maybe eat a little late. This is probably the worst time to bring up, but let's talk about TikTok. Because, I mean, I don't think I'm ever really gonna go anywhere with the platform. But I don't hate it. And I feel like an old person sometimes, and yet I'm not gonna hate on it. I mean, like, it's, in a lot of senses, it's like Vine back when that was a thing, where it's like a short video platform, and you do stuff on it. I wonder if TikTok will still be around by the time this goes up. I think that's mostly going to go into the political end in that spectrum, but I am just hearing the news about that around the time of recording this. So I've been thinking a little bit about TikTok today. Hopefully by the time this goes up, you'll all be blustered and confused because that won't be relevant anymore because either TikTok doesn't exist, or more hopefully, all that news flusters by and I'm just worried over nothing. Yeah, I can be worried about things I don't care about. Or should I say things I don't have a personal connection to? I think that what I'm trying to say is just because you don't care about something doesn't mean you can't be concerned about its well-being. Especially with people, like, I feel like I've reached my social limit a long time ago. But that doesn't mean, like, if I get word of a stranger or a group of people in general in trouble, that I shouldn't at least be concerned about them. It's kind of like donating to a charity. You probably never see or hear or have any connection with the person that benefits from the money you donate to that charity, but you're still helping them. You can still save a life even if you have no personal connection to someone. And I kind of bring that up because it's like, that's kind of what I was getting at with TikTok. Like, I have no need to, I don't think I ever will have a major care for TikTok, but that doesn't mean I can't be sad if, like, something happens to it and other people are left miserable because they don't have it anymore. Especially because I can relate it to kind of just like my YouTube experiences. It has its own community. It has its own stuff. I wasn't actually expecting to make that, to be perfectly honest. It's kind of why I choked at the end there. Yeah, hopefully that's enough, because I don't want to dwell on that topic too much. It's just what's on my mind, and an overall good message of, just because you don't know someone doesn't mean you can't care for them. And even if you don't care for someone, that doesn't mean you have to stay silent if someone is wishing ill on them. Alright. Okay, a little too soon with that. Is it bad that I think that YouTube needs all the competition it can get? Okay, I think that's the last I have on that tangent. Yeah, like, anyone remember Mixer anymore? And how I used to compete with Twitch? which made a... Granted, not every amazing thing that's come out of Twitch has happened exclusively because of Mixer, but having that little push of competition doesn't hurt. It definitely helps keep them on their toe, especially when you're a multi-million corporation. If you have no competition, you have no motivation to actually improve yourself. Yeah, I feel like I gotta figure out what to do here. I know I gotta like dash. Okay, I think I got an idea for the next attempt. I think I gotta use momentum jumping a little bit more for that end section there, and then maybe I can do it. Yeah, if I can dash soon enough before I hit into the spikes, I think you can see what I'm trying to do. Okay, I just needed to go horizontal, not vertical, and then it would have worked. But I had that temptation to just dash up to try to save myself trying to do something that technical. Why am I tripping on this section now? Why? Oh. Why I go up? There we go! Oh no, I was just a little too soon. It feels a little embarrassing that this is the area that I'm getting tripped up on. If that was actually diagonal, it would have actually worked that time. Ooh, too far. There we go, there we go. Man, that felt like it took too long. At least I kept opportunities to refresh my dash here. No, I meant to go... I did not mean to go diagonal. Not? You at least see what I'm trying to do now, don't you? I swear they did that on purpose. Put the spikes there right when you get in the rhythm of one thing, just to kill you from getting too into a habit. Like a lot of addictions. Wow, was it with me like going, I wouldn't even say political, but definitely catering, kissing the temptation, like kissing death, some saying like that. Where do I want to go? Oh, I just want to do the same thing I did in the past two segments. Okay, cool. We're reaching Battlin, Utterlin. We are almost set. And because it's a B-side, my dashes are actually gonna matter, except for that one section where I actually had more dashes than I needed. This isn't a case of that. When you miss the momentum jump, when your fat thumb puts you at an angle. I saw the spikes, but my mind was still trying to process how to avoid them. I am not liking this new trend of putting spikes right at the end of the wall where your momentum ends. I mean, it's a B-side, so I should expect them to like do something like that. I was trying to say like expect something of that technicality. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say anymore. But it's just still a thing that annoys me because it feels like a betrayal of trust with the mechanics of the game. Almost got there with no dash at all. The thing I gotta remember about these sword rooms is that you need to save at least one dash for the magic space pudding. Can't believe it took me this long to actually come up with a nickname for them. But do I want to stick with that? Yeah, we'll call it magic space pudding for now. There's not too much time left in the adventure to come up with something else. I think that's the first time I actually failed that section. Wow. So of course I gotta do it again right away. Thank goodness that beginning section is so forgiving. Pressed A while I was still in the magic pudding. Space pudding. Ugh. I'm afraid to jump because that gives me too much momentum. Speaking of new firsts. Straight would have done it, but I was a little worried about being too low. Is this a new part of the music? Or is it just looping and I'm not aware of the loop? Yeah, I think it's just looping. It'd be crazy to put something over there, and how did my thumb slipping of all frickin' things end up being the thing that made this to run? Jeez Louise! That was actually pretty fast. I did not expect us to get to the fuzzy section so soon. You know what? Give me 1 sec to breathe, but we're gonna jump right into it. Just want to make sure what I got recorded. Yeah, these sections have been short enough. Let me at least see if I can get through this. I can never figure out what it is. It always just fills me with a sense of dread whenever I see this red outline, black pixeled monstrosity in my sight. But it's like, oh jeez. I mean, being the literal embodiment of anxiety sure doesn't help with that. But I'm sure that's also purely coincidental. Because I would have never guessed that this stuff was the literal embodiment of anxiety without the context of the game! Hey! One room down. Kinda surprising to give me a spring that soon. But if I learned anything from the last chapter, not needed, but appreciated. Having a little bit extra wiggle room was well appreciated. Alright. Yeah, they're super generous. Like, you can get that second crystal without the first one, but I do appreciate any generosity a B-side is willing to throw my way. Now I'm kind of wondering if it is actually optional. Like, yes, you can get to that area, but can you get to that area without getting hit by a fuzzy? I'm starting to have doubts. Alright. So I might as well just use what the game provides me instead of figuring out if I need it or not. Even though part of me just wants to go as quickly as I can through this entire pile of bull cruz. And yet, this is more fun than Chapter 6 B-side. It's got freaking fuzzies and it's not even as bad as Chapter 6's B-side. I mean, I very well could be speaking too soon. Can I hit the spring to refresh my dash? Yes. Okay, so there's one up there that I'm missing. I am so lucky I didn't hit the fuzzies on the side here. 1 sec. So close. So close yet so far. Here it goes. Right, I left off in the middle of the stage. And I had the speed timer going because the last time I played this game was in a speed run. I don't have anything else on. Right. Man, it's been so long, I don't even remember how I'm supposed to do this. Why did I put a freaking fuzzy stage here? Why I have to leave off on this? It's been at least a month, maybe even a month and a half. It's just been a month in general since I've last recorded, and yet I thought that this would be the best place to leave off on. Really. I guess I could have done worse. It's just gotta take some time to get used to the controls again. Oh, I think I almost wore the... Can the plastic on the Joy-Con sticks come off? Because that almost felt like a Joy-Con plastic off a Joy-Con stick coming off. And that's not good. 5 minutes in, and I'm already questioning I'm already questioning my controller. Mind you, I could have sworn the excuse would have been Joy-Con drift. But I guess we gotta spice up the Johns every now and then. And I'm just gonna pretend that it's just my imagination. Because otherwise I'll be in a bit of a panic, because Joy-Cons are not cheap. And unlike the Joy-Con drift, I'm pretty sure I can't just take it to Nintendo and say, hey, this thing shouldn't be broken if you actually did your job properly. Fix it. Maybe that's a little harsh, but I mean, 2020 is all about JackitK being a bit more harsh on the world than usual, because he's tired of showing patience for people who don't respect it. You do know you gotta do a story time now, because I'm not allowed to just go on that sort of tangent and just leave it in, I suppose. Yeah, I think, who knows, I don't even think I'm at the, I think recording wise I'm still at the point where it was back in 2019. So who knows if the world will be a terrible mess by the time this goes up. Because it's currently a bit of a mess now. And the only thing I really got to say to people for assurance, it only really works if you're on the state sides. The only good news is that no matter what happens, 2021 will not be an election year. Or be an election year. So it's gonna be there. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but it's gonna be very hard for 2021 to be worse than 2020. It's possible, but very hard. And I'm not being those super cheesy, optimistic, oh, everything's gonna just magically go away when the year turns 2021. Now I know humanity well enough to know that the world problems aren't gonna go away when the world frickin' swaps over to 2021. We still got some. We'll still have some baggage from 2020. I can only hope that we've learned some lessons just through surviving this year that we can apply into the future year. Which would, if that goes through, that is how I imagine 2021 being better than 2020. Minus the fact that politics won't be as in the highlight as usual. And I promise that's all the politics I'm gonna go into today. Enjoy the death montage until I can get my mind onto something a little more subtle. I only bring it up because, I mean, hey, Celeste is pretty much just a coping game. Like, I have Gaming Show to talk about exactly what's going on in my life and details of that, but Celeste is about capturing. Celeste is a game about emotion, so I like to just capture a little bit of how I'm feeling, and I think that rant is a pretty good example of, it's a pretty good way of capturing how I've been feeling lately, especially since the last time that I played this wonderful video game for y'all. While I'm actually feeling up to talking though, man, I miss actually doing post-production or doing a recording and not having it be on the stream and not having to worry about all that additional stuff, because like just in a lot of ways streaming's been doing wonders, especially doing consistently, because if I'm guaranteeing myself to have 2 streams every single week, then that means I can pretty much have at least 2 videos every week easy and have a backlog. Actually, like if I make it a half-hour video, what the heck is this mess? Springs? Square block? What is this possibly asking out of me? Okay, I'm gonna see if I can make a mental note that we are about 2020. That block's gotta come back eventually, right? I'm talking about just like how much I miss actually doing a recording like this. A lot of it is just playing Celeste, but get back to that in a sec. Oh, okay, so you don't get to influence the block. You just like have to take in. It's inevitable that you bounce, and you shall always bounce, whether you want to bounce or not. And that's just your life now. Just being stuck dealing with a bouncing contraption that we call life. I'm starting to draw parallels to my own life. Alright, just like, you don't want it to bounce, but it's gonna bounce. Even if you used to like when things bounce. The world just remembers what you used to like with your bouncing. And now that you moved on to something beyond the bouncing comes back to haunt you. It's like all you have to go by, even though you want to do so much more. Is Celeste just becoming a substitute therapy session? Maybe. But I think like it started out being metaphorical, but then it just like went so far abstract that I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. That's all I got on that subject. Bouncing. Icy caves. First the icy caves from chapter 7. Now I can't stop thinking about the bouncing. What is it with this game reminding me of all the dumb references from Donkey Kong Country? On the tangent of streaming though. By the time this is going up, I'm just reminded that I actually revisited Donkey Kong Country not too long ago in a live stream, and by the time this is out, heck, by the time like the next Celeste video is out in general, and it definitely won't be this one. Oh, fun time to get a little battery notification. Maybe I could have done that if I wasn't distracted. I mean, let's be real. If I wasn't distracted by the little battery, I'd probably be distracted by the whole Donkey Kong Country tangent. But distraction nevertheless. You know what? I'm probably not gonna get back to where I left off. Might as well resume the story. So yeah, I've been thinking a bit about Donkey Kong Country lately, if only because I've actually live streamed it recently. Like, I did the GBA version, Hero Mode, way back in like maybe my first 3 to 5 years of LPing. Maybe even 2. I forget how long ago it was, but I know it was like not one of my quote-unquote classic LPs, but pretty back there in the ages and all. So between Donkey Kong Country ending up on the Switch quote-unquote virtual console a while back, and the fact that technically I LP'd the Hero Mode from the GBA version, and I've never touched the NES version on YouTube. Like, I think I've mentioned both in that LP and in the live stream of the NES version that Donkey Kong Country was one of my first video games. Like, Pokemon was the very first quote-unquote real video game. Donkey Kong Country though was like my first console, like, because the first console I got was the NES, or the SNES bundle, that pretty much had Donkey Kong Country bundled in, and it was a birthday present from what I recall. So that's probably part of it. I got that, and I never got Mario. Most kids get like Super Mario and Super Mario World growing up. Now I got Donkey Kong Country. Most people got like Mario 64 growing up. Not me, I got Donkey Kong 64. Probably because I actually had the same Mario connection with the Donkey Kong Country series that most people have with Mario. Well, can I actually get it this time? Heck yeah! And that story took a lot longer than I thought it would. Oh my god, is this a B-side? Am I actually going to be required to bounce on snowballs? Thankfully I got that first try, so I mean, like, if they're just getting hand snowballs like this, it won't be so bad. But I got a bad feeling that it's only gonna get worse. And especially with those pink bubble clouds. Yeah. At least it doesn't look like I gotta do any stupid stuff with the snowball for this section beyond that one room, which I'm okay with. Like, maybe they'll save something really dumb for Seaside, which, if we actually once we actually get through this B-side, I'm gonna go into the whole story of my plans for handling the rest of this game, because I've been, with all the time I've had, just getting in between each recording session, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I think I'm gonna change the direction I'm gonna do things with this series a little bit. Why do I keep going up or left now that I actually want to go straight? My left button isn't broken, is it? Oh, nope, that was a solid left that time. I swore I was pressing left the other time, so I'm not sure why I kept going right into the spikes like that. It's not my imagination. I was pushing to the left, right? Yeah, that's a solid left. I'm looking at the controller now, and that's what I get for looking at the controller, not the game. I'm pressing left, but the game's putting me upper right? Let me try a couple more times. If I keep having a problem, I do have a second set of Joy-Cons that I can swap to for now, until I figure out what's up with that. I don't think it's Joy-Con drift, because Joy-Con drift is different. This is a completely different, peculiar problem. And you know what it is? I have fake plastic covers over my Joy-Con sticks. So when I was feeling it being loose, it might very well have been loose, but thankfully that's not too big of an issue because Joy-Con control sticks are actually made out of hard plastic. I just bought an accessory a really long time ago that puts a little bit more soft plastic on top of my Joy-Cons, and I've apparently been using it for so long I just forgot that wasn't how the controllers normally are. Yeah, that's right, I'm not using a Pro controller. Maybe I should. Maybe I should get one. I mean, there is this very special thing going on in my life soon that might be the perfect opportunity to get that sort of thing. But right now, I just have the puppy set up. And honestly, for the most part, I've been real content with it. So part of the reason I never really got a Joy-Con controller before, or the Pro controller before, I really wish I could figure out why sometimes I do the upper left thing when I'm trying to do left and vice versa. And how I was gonna say how I even do that area, but I see the panel now that I have to actually go down and not just straight up. I wish I would have realized that before I died, but it is what it is. Dang. I gotta finish up one of my tangents before I completely forget about them though. Joy-Con. Pro controller, I feel like for some reason I've only now, within the past month or so, really find myself wishing that I had a Pro controller. Just between the Joy-Con drift issues that they occasionally have, and just Mario 35 in particular made me notice that the controller is small in my hands. For some reason, even playing a game like Celeste, the controller does not feel small in my hands. But for some reason, Mario 35, of all things, when I play that game, the controller feels too small in my hands. And it's the same exact controller, and yet here I am talking about just how one particular game makes my feel small on controllers. Probably because I have to press Y to jump, and it's right next to the X button, which does a completely different thing. Why? It's probably because in Mario 35 you use Y to jump on the puppy controller, and you use X to use an item. Y and X are right next to each other, so guess who's... Plus you actually have to use the control pad to move, and you can't use the control stick, because the control pad in Mario 35 lets you target enemies with your obstacles and all that. Meanwhile in Celeste, I can just use the control stick like a sane person. Might as well, at least if this control stick would work, it would be the most ideal way. But no, Mario 35, I can't use the control pad to move, so that puts that up. And I have to have Y to jump, and have to have my thumb... Usually when I'm playing Celeste, I have my thumb in an AX formation, where my thumb covers both A and the X button. A for my jumping, X for my dashing. And I don't need to worry about the other buttons on the controller. So I guess it doesn't matter that they're all so small and so close to each other when I'm playing Celeste because of that. With Mario 35, I need to use both Y, B, and A, and X. I forget what Y does, but Y or B is for the items. Like when you get a fireball, or when you're running, which I tend to do a lot in platformers. If a platformer has a run button, I'm usually holding it down by default, just to have the most... It's not even because I like to go fast for levels, though there's certainly some games I like to play like that. But whenever a platformer gives me the option to run, I'm always running as much as possible, because it just doesn't feel right not to have as much optimization over my movement as possible. So I'm trying to play Mario 35, holding down the Y button pretty much all the time. Or is Y for jumping? Point being, I'm holding down the button that's next really close to the X button constantly. plus a jump button, which is also close to the X button, so I find myself accidentally hitting that X button all the time, which in Mario 35 is how you use items that use up coins that I work so hard to collect and need to save for, like, the end stretch when you're just stuck with, like, 3 to 6 other players. So I'm, like, accidentally wasting my resources, and I mean, there's been times, like, I accidentally do it right, as weird as that sounds. We'd be done with this room by now. The game would just stop sending me to the upper left when I'm trying to press left. Ah. So yeah. Between that and the point overall is, like, I've been noticing the issues of the Joy-Con controller set a lot more lately. So maybe it's time to finally treat myself with a Pro controller, even though it's a little bit more expensive. And as I'm recording this, like, my own birthday's not too far away. I don't want to get too into that though, because this year in particular, I'm kind of dreading my birthday. And that might be a little too personal for it, but like, it might be a good time to get a present like that. That's the point I'm getting at. Now, before I go any more into that, maybe I can finish up Donkey Kong Country talk. Yeah, that's a childhood game. It's nice to actually go back and stream the whole thing. And it is technically different content because I'm not doing the hero mode, I'm doing, on the GBA, I'm doing the original NES. I mean, granted, it's for Switch Online, but still closer to the original hardware than the GBA version. As much as I love the GBA version growing up, like, that's actually how I played Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3. Like, I never played the original NES versions of 2 and 3. I did play the NES for SNES. Can we just assume whenever I say NES that I'm talking about SNES? It's like one letter off, and keep making this mistake way too often because of that. Like, they roll out off my tongue the same way. Point being, I may have played Donkey Kong Country when it first came out, but I don't even remember why, but I never got the other 2 games. I don't even know if I remember if I knew they existed back when I was a little weeby kiddie playing the game. Like, not being a weeb, you know, I was trying to say, like, Wutto baby in that particular tone, and it just came out as weeb for some reason. There's no way the wind current may be making me go diagonal left instead of straight left, correct? Oh my god, I could have sworn I was gonna screw it up at the end there, but hey, wow, time flies when you're having fun. Can't believe we're already at half an hour. But hey, I think we're at like the second last section of the B-side, so I am perfectly content with that. Ooh, I think I know what they want me to do here, and it's gonna be weird, but I'll try it. Oh, I was thinking that they were like gonna... kind of the opposite of what I was expecting it to do, to be honest. This might actually be a better idea though, assuming I can pull it off. Okay, that's actually a lot easier. The tricky part is probably going to be, like, getting back on there. Especially, okay, it's not the wind that's making me go diagonally left, which freaking sucks. Have I finished talking about how much I miss this game? No, I was getting there, but then I got on a tangent about Donkey Kong Country. As nice as, like, doing streams constantly and having post-production, you know what, I'm gonna just swap my batteries right now. That might be part of the issue for the controller. I know that, okay, the icon is actually showing the upper left, which is where my control stick is, so maybe that's the issue. Give me a sec. Give me a good chance to break off the recording anyways.